whichever part of the world you are joining us from. The Global Council for the Promotion of International Trade is proud to host this global celebration of World MSME Day 2021. We have more than 35 speakers joining us today from more than 25 countries. We are really honored and grateful to all of you for accepting our invitation and joining us today. On behalf of Gcpd, I welcome you all to this wonderful evening. I'm Aparna G. Kumar, the Global Co-Chairperson of Gcpd and your host for this evening. To quote Henry Ford, coming together is a beginning, staying together is progress, and working together is success. And we believe this is just a beginning, and this will be a beautiful lifelong relationship between all of us, and we will be working together for supporting SMEs across the globe and thereby creating a sustainable change in the society. As we all know, the United Nations General Assembly designated 27th June as Micro, Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises Day in order to recognize the contribution that MSMEs have made to the implementation of Agenda 2030 and the Sustainable Development Goals. Micro, small and medium-sized enterprises or MSMEs account for 90% of businesses, 60 to 70% of employment and 50% of GDP worldwide. Today, on MSME Day 2021, almost 18 months after the onset of COVID-19 crisis, most countries are still grappling with the pandemic and its severe health and socio-economic impacts, including lockdowns and the need to support those who have lost their jobs and livelihoods. Though at first it was a health crisis, it had unprecedented and serious impacts on all of the aspects of how people communicate, work, produce, trade, consume, and live. The economic ramifications of the pandemic quickly became apparent, and SMEs have been on the front lines. With workers and customers staying indoors and supply chains tested by shutdowns, the small companies that provide 70% of the jobs in countries around the world and about half of economic activity have been put under stress. A COVID-19 business impact survey done by ITC clearly tells us how the pandemic has affected the small and medium enterprises. Analysis of this data shows that the pandemic has strongly affected 55% of their respondents. Nearly 2/3 of micro and small firms reported that the crisis strongly affected their business operations compared with about 40% of large companies. 1/5 of SMEs said that they risked shutting down permanently within 3 months. Service companies have been the hardest hit around the world. In accommodation and food services, for instance, 76% of the surveyed firms said that partial and full lockdown strongly affected their business operations. 64 of women-led firms declared that the business operations were strongly affected, and youth-led enterprises reported a high risk of closing. About 26% of youth-led firms said they risked shutting down permanently within 3 months, compared to 18% for non-youth-led businesses. Many companies that are not registered with national authorities are small and have little cash on hand to finance themselves whenever operations are shut down. The survey also found that informal enterprises are 25% more likely to say that the pandemic is pushing them towards bankruptcy. All these data shows that as business support organizations, we have a key role to play. The reason for all of us coming together is to cooperate to create growth opportunities for companies, competitive advantage for a country, and help deliver economic, social, and environmental objectives. Businesses working together can reduce costs through shared procurement, create economies of scale, and access new opportunities by sharing knowledge and resources. As business support organizations, we all can benefit from each other's knowledge, convening power, and our credibility to represent micro and small businesses and make their needs known to policymakers and funders. In the last 18 months, the whole world shifted into digital platforms, and teleworking, remote learning, teleconferencing, online health services, e-commerce, and digital payments, all these taught us that digital facilities will no longer be optional. As we are opening to the new world that has been reshaped by the pandemic, we all have to adapt to the new normal, a new normal of building and fostering resilience, digital transformation, inclusiveness, and sustainability. On the 75th anniversary of the United Nations and 5th anniversary of the adoption of the SDGs or the 2030 Agenda, which includes 17 global goals and features 169 related targets that aim to end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure prosperity for all, let us make a promise to ourselves. We all have come together today. Let us all work towards creating possibilities, a world where no one is left behind. As Nelson Mandela said, it always seems impossible until it is done. Let's together create the change we wish to see in this world. Thank you so much for joining us today. So on this auspicious day, we are proud to have India's #1 business news channel owned and operated by the Times Network, ETNow, as our media partner. As they salute India's SMEs and MSMEs and startups who showed resilience during the crisis, we are proud to join hands with them. Let us watch a short video.
Leaders of Tomorrow, India's longest and most definitive television platform for SMEs and startups. Pioneering and nurturing their dreams into reality and recognizing true leaders who fuel momentum. Leaders of Tomorrow Awards and Conclave is back in Season 9. To salute India's SMEs, MSMEs and startups across industries and sectors who not only survived but saw revival and thrived during the pandemic. Have you shown resilience during this crisis? Have you innovated against all odds? Nominate yourself and win the chance to be felicitated at Leaders of Tomorrow's illustrious awards. Register yourself now. Entries open. Presented by IDFC First Bank.
That is amazing work. Thank you so much for joining us and supporting us in this mission. Kingdom, this session is going to be led by Ms. Christina Scott, Director General, Gcpd UK. Ms. Christina is the Managing Director of Beyonder Limited, a Glasgow-based textile manufacturer specializing in prototyping, sampling, and short production runs for ethical designers. She founded Beyonder in early 2013 as a profit-for-purpose organization and one of the first organization and one of the first employers to commit to the Glasgow living wage. Prior to creating the textile business, which he now heads, Chrissy's background was in youth employment, training, and development. Chrissy's vision for Beyonder is a collaborative and supportive organization which will inspire both new business startups and scale-ups to adopt a global perspective in all their business activities whilst retaining sensitivity to the needs of their local communities. Over to you, Chrissy, to lead the session.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you all, wherever you are attending from, including Mrs. Jawan Hassan, Minister Plenipotentiary for Iraqi Embassy in the UK, and Mr. Saif Al-Hamdani, Manager at Baghdad Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to MSME Celebration Day 2021. It is a privilege and a joy to be with you all today, discussing the future of SMEs in trade from a country perspective. As a small business owner, Director General for Gcpd UK and Ambassador for Women's Enterprise Scotland, my perspective on SMEs and trade for UK is a very hopeful and actionable one. There are many challenges in our way, including Brexit, COVID, and delivery of low carbon goals, amongst others, both as a nation and as a business owner. However, I remain hopeful and determined as our business model and methodology was developed pre these times. And all these times have shown us is that there is the need, demand and evidence of business models such as ours. Having proven our modelling in education and most recently in manufacturing, our next goal is to execute the modelling on supply chain, including inclusive procurement, through to adaptable manufacturing and logistics for a low carbon world. The future, if it is to be of benefit to all, must be MSME-centric, not just multinational or big business-centric. Why? Because collectively, we are multinational, biggest of the big businesses, and that is why we need as many as possible to adopt the and approach, not either or. There is very much room for us all, and by cooperating over competing, that means we can create more business for each other to thrive. Our world is changing at a faster pace than before and will only continue to increase in speed. So we must use technology and creative thinking to our advantage to avoid similar destruction and inequity that arose through industrialisation and globalisation. It is up to us as a community globally to work in partnership to shift the challenges in front of us ahead. We must put people and our planet at the heart of our business and work collegiately to divide and cooperate. Thankful for the research and data from Women's Enterprise Scotland, we know women have a fundamentally different experience to men in business. outcomes are worst for Black and Asian and other ethnic minority women. 37% of Black women entrepreneurs did not make a profit last year, compared to 16% of white male entrepreneurs in the UK. And that's from the British Business Bank 2020. To know and understand this also gives us accountability to improve on this. We have a duty to each other to create opportunities and connections for those coming next, just as we have been. That is why I'm hugely proud of my roles and our global team who are fully aligned in this mission with us. The UK may be seen as a progressive and innovative in comparison to some other countries. However, we still have collectively much work to do to be that fairer, inclusive nation. We cannot allow for complacency when it comes to business that is rooted in positive social and environmental impact. And if we are to be truly considered innovative, then we need to ensure that it is through the whole access to business ecosystem and be open to new business models, not just shoehorn them into the usual way of doing things, a challenge I continue to work on. I am glad to say that although the challenges continue to remain for us as a business, that based in Scotland, we do have much opportunity to push forward on our business modelling. And we have a strong, not perfect by far, but really cooperative business ecosystem, which continues to improve in iteration. So if your business is passionate about fair trade, SDGs, inclusion, equality, climate and cooperation, then please connect with us so we can do more together. It is now my privilege to introduce 3 amazing speakers from the UK. So if you have any questions for them, please put them in the chat function so we can get the questions to them to be answered afterwards. I'll be putting info relating to speakers into the chat function. So let me begin by introducing Russell Dalgleish. Russell has enjoyed the benefits of a highly successful international career in the technology sector and now focuses his efforts on supporting owners and boards of companies to devise and implement growth strategies to create shareholder value. In his earlier career, he has held board leadership positions with international companies achieving turnover of more than 200 million. Russell's core areas of focus are leadership, innovation, entrepreneurship, and strategic thinking. He is a regular speaker at events on leadership in business and has spoken at conferences from Los Angeles to Abu Dhabi. Russell is founding managing partner of the advisory group Exalta Capital Partners, and is the founding chairman of Scottish Business Network, the global network supporting Scottish business leaders. Russell holds many roles and accolades and is a connector of excellence. Introducing Russell Dalgleish.
Thank you very much, Christina, and welcome everyone. It's an absolute privilege to be with you. Now, what I thought I'd do in my 7 minutes is to do something a little bit different. So today we gather to celebrate small business. And I thought I would share with you what makes small businesses successful today in the UK, because I think it will surprise you. Our world is dominated by large companies, major brands, and yet the vast majority of us work for small businesses. I choose to spend my life with you, supporting the small business owner. But why? Well, I do this because in a big business, we are cogs in a wheel. In a small business, we can change the world, and that's why we do it. But how can we succeed today in such a competitive global marketplace? Well, let me tell you the 4 steps that I believe we should follow. And I'm seeing this again and again in successful small businesses across the world. And the first of these 4 steps is love. You must do the thing you love. Surely that's the reason we exist on this planet. I've spent the last 20 years of my career finding out what I love doing and focusing my efforts, my time and resources in doing that. What I love doing is helping others. If you look at my LinkedIn, it'll say that's my #1 purpose, is to help others. But how do we find what the thing is that we love? You know, love's a difficult concept. It's difficult to see what are we doing that we actually love. Well, the answer is you love doing the thing that you do naturally. You do it without thinking. You can't stop doing it. You would do it even if no one paid you to do it. And that's what my love is. My love is helping others, and I simply can't help myself from doing it. Once you've decided upon what your thing is you love, you then have to try and turn it into a business. And the way you do that is by finding the market fit. Now, there's a problem with the discussion about market fit because we tend to look at it from the small company point of view. What we really want to know is what problems exist in the market that you can fix by doing the things you love. Find the problems that you can correct by doing the thing you love. It's really easy, but it's a painful process because it involves a lot of failure. A lot of times we get it wrong, but eventually you will arrive at what you love and what the market needs. And that marriage between these two is called your expertise. And your job is to tell the world what you're an expert at. Originally, we would use advertising in the press, then we would use websites. Today, we use social media. So you must harness social media to talk about the thing you love doing and how that love solves a problem. By solving that problem, you can win customers, you can generate revenue, and you can, to a certain extent, change the world. But you can't do it alone. You have to build a network and a community around you. And building that network and community involves moving out of our comfort zone. It involves taking a risk. It involves reaching out to people you may not know and asking them for help. Don't reach out to people you don't know and try and sell them something, because I guarantee they'll say no. Reach out to them and talk about how you could perhaps help them, or could they perhaps offer you some advice? So that's what we're seeing in the UK today. Small businesses are successful where you're doing the thing you love. Because that thing you love solves a market problem, you can create a business. In that business, you are the expert. And as that business grows, you must market that expertise to amplify that message. You build your network. And what's the results of all this effort? Is it riches, fame, power? Perhaps, but was that really what you love? For me, it was about seeing others succeed. That's the benefit I get. So the benefits, you will have a dedicated, can you imagine spending your life dedicated to doing the thing you love? Surely that's nirvana. You will be commercially successful because you're meeting a market need, and your network will be delighted because they get the chance to see you succeed. So those are my 4 steps to building successful small businesses the world over. If you agree with me or disagree with me, drop me a note. I'm here to help you through making introductions to my network and perhaps offering some advice. Thank you very much.
Fantastic, Russell. Can't thank you enough for that. That was excellent, and it's such a privilege to have you in our network. Okay, so that was some great excellence from Russell and hugely informative. So let me now introduce Samar Rassam Whitcomb. Samar was born in Iraq, and having gained an engineering degree, she moved to London and worked for Betro and also AMEC Oil and Gas. A skillful engineer, Samar turned her talents to business and founded Somer Industrial Projects, SIP, in 2008, and advises many companies within the Middle Eastern region in matters such as strategy consulting, market entry into Iraq, sourcing, and knowledge-based training, whilst ensuring compliance to standards of specification. Samar was awarded a Women of Excellence Award in 2017 for her work in communities. A columnist for oil and gas at Nina magazine since 2014, Samar was elected executive member of Al-Kindi Society of Engineering in 2018. Please welcome Samar.
Thanks, Christina, for this introduction and for the welcome. Really appreciate it. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you today. Well, you touched about my background, but I'd like to say, and say like I moved, yes, came over to UK in 1990 at the height of the Gulf War, and I was on business trip to come to this country, and then I am here since. And as you mentioned, as you said, like I used to work with Bechtel. I started as junior engineer to start with, progressed slowly, become lead instrument engineer. Then I moved to work with AMEC as a lead instrument engineer. Then AMEC, they were awarded to rebuild Iraq in 2003. So my boss, he came, or the management, they came and they said, hey, we need to transfer you from engineer to be a manager. And so I enjoyed being a manager. And my boss, he said, well, managers are made and not born. And since that day, I start to enjoy what I'm doing. So then after I finished my role with the company, I started Summer Industrial Project SIP. And this is for building the bridges with the Middle East and specifically Iraq. And when you know the culture and you know the country, that makes it easier to work, especially as a SME to start with. So that's good when you have the relationship, and which normally we start to build the relationship, but it's there because you know the country, you know your ex-colleagues. I used to work with the Iraqi Ministry of Oil myself before I settled here. And then we start to provide training to Iraqis and consultancy services with companies in the oil and gas and energy sector and the private sector. So it was, to be honest, not an easy decision to switch from working with corporate and giant companies and firms and to starting my company, because we are used to have what we call pay slip and paycheck, but like when you start your own company, it's a little bit different. But I say this is the right decision, and really I encourage people to start their own business if they have that desire. The fast globalization of business has created many opportunities for entrepreneurs or SMEs. I mean, I say entrepreneurs because at Chamber of Commerce we use entrepreneurs, but SMEs, we are here for SMEs. So questions to keep in mind: what are my motivations for owning a business? Are my goals well defined? There are a lot of opportunities out there to suit every need, like different from finance, from hospitality, different sectors, various sectors. So if you have the will to try and make it succeed and you run your own business, this can be a very rewarding. And if you are willing to embrace the risks involved, but you have to hire people and also pay salaries. I found it at the beginning, that was the hurdle when we start the business. But there are many risks of running your own business, but entrepreneurs in general are risk takers. I'm one of them. And not trying at all isn't an option. So that's why I decided to change the direction of my career, and I can honestly say that I've never regretted it. So I really encourage potential entrepreneurs to give it a try and not give it to the fear of failure. There is nothing worse than looking back and wondering, what if? As I mentioned, I must admit it was very hard at the beginning and working long hours, and we know there's only so many hours in the day. Most recently, I was honored and asked to become a board director with Hounslow Chamber of Commerce, who they have similar goals to mine. So the chamber, what we do, we help our SMEs and we help them facilitate the business, and the activity is really to promote SMEs. And the mission is to maximize our members. And I mean, the previous colleagues or previous speakers also, they talked about Chamber of Commerce. I think Chamber of Commerce globally, everywhere, is the income through membership. So we try also to have members and help them and network and do what we can. So the vision is to create an environment in which business can prosper. The role, as we say, to promote interest in local business possibilities, provide educational opportunities, and assist business with the latest marketing and promotional techniques. the chamber works for the ever-increasing population, assuring additional customers and income. And this is one of the things which I'm trying to win more members in our area. And the objective is to champion the business community in West London, and myself in London, and West London is from Heathrow to Hammersmith, and it's West London. And we work closely with our SMEs, small medium enterprises, and to understand their business in order to assist with the right solutions. When business are given the necessary space to grow, communities benefit from new jobs, property development, and other economic activities that take shape on and off the high street. So when I joined as a member at the beginning in 2017 with the Hounslow Chamber of Commerce, I benefited as SME from the support and advice we got from our business support program. And that was being sponsored by the chamber with the council. So the government must have to put their hand in to help the SMEs. I think this is one thing. And the training provided was different workshops like finance, creating your own business strategy, you and your community, marketing on your online presence, growing your business. So it was very useful workshops, plus was followed by 3 one-to-one mentoring, and with good advisors and who provided the support and the startup business. As we know, like when you start, no one knows everything. So like I'm good as an instrument engineer, but I don't know the IT, the legal, the finance. So really it's good to ask and to get help. So for business struggling with finance, there's a free general advice for startup business. Finance and access to finance is a headache for SMEs. The British Business Bank aims to make finance markets work easier and better for small business across the UK. And I tried to get help from them, which that helped. So being attached to the chamber was a very good step, as no one, as I said, no one knows everything. And there's a need to move the mindset when you are working as an employee and then to be your own business, you own your own business. So also through the networking, we meet like-minded people, which we can share opinions, and also like invaluable interactions. And we were having always networking, and so we ask questions, we talk to each other with the experts and experienced business. Between the modules of training, we were working on developing our own strategy and to help us how we can succeed, what we can reach and to succeed. So the training, as I said, like was boost the skills and help every step of the way and guide us to build the business future. You've got what it takes. It's time to start believing in your strengths. And I think Russell touched in a way differently, but it's the same idea, same way. So SMEs generate employment opportunities through all UK and across UK. They also create a group of skilled and semi-skilled workers to support future industry and business expansion in the country. SMEs are the backbone of any healthy economy. They contributed to 51% of all turnover generated by the private sector in 2018. So why people become entrepreneur? I think they like to do their own things, making their own rules, doing and enjoy what they do, and controlling their own destiny. And successful entrepreneur, they have to work well. Successful entrepreneur, if they plan and they do what they want to do, and they have a vision and the passion for what they are doing, they will succeed. And but always we ask and hire people expert to help us. I mean, I used when I want to write really to the CEOs or introduce the company to new companies, always I ask for help to help me to draft what I want, because like I can talk about technicality very well, but in this type of things, I will ask always for help. So don't let the fear of making mistakes stop you. This is one thing which I learned recently. Part of becoming successful is learning what not to do also. So to succeed, there is a need for developed self-sufficiency, discipline, and leadership qualities. And effective planning will help, of course, like when we plan well and you study and do it and practice and do it again, you will learn and you will achieve. The number one cause of business failure is poor management. The program also consisted of like 3 modules. Where are we now? Where are we going? And how do we get there? And one thing which we learned, and what we always our mentor tell us, like prepare even only 1 page of business plan. Just do it. 1/2 page, 1 page, many pages, but just we have to do it and prepare the cash flow. This is one thing which we have, which I learned myself. I'm sure others, they do the same. In COVID, of course, we touched, all the speakers really previously, they touched about the COVID, but also we'll say that time, we hope it's getting better. Eventually things will get better. And those things which permanently change are the things that we will adapt to. And from the COVID, also the digitalization, which we like we move now to digitalization, the technology, and the technology is really fast. So we have also to deal and to work fast ourselves to follow it. And many people are moving towards a digital business due to the coronavirus, as we said, and affected all countries globally, all worldwide. Yeah. So yes, I'll finish.
Fantastic, fantastic, fabulous. Thank you so much.
I will finish just like the last bit, which is, I mean, what I found being important to me is have a clear plan, get a mentor, which we mentioned, and I will not go to the other things which we say, network and communicate. But I must say, one of the reasons that I started Summer Intelligence Project is to leave behind a highly skilled workforce that can step up to the challenges of supporting the infrastructure in Iraq. That was my main reason to start this, and to provide training courses by professional and qualified trainers according to international standards. So we have 2 courses. We are doing it on Zoom. I mean, the Iraqis, they were not, I mean, the internet's not good, but we are doing it through Zoom. So the future is young people, which they need jobs and developing the interest in starting their own business. Unemployment is big problem. SMEs are the solution. And I would just like to finish what Thomas Edison quotes, because I like what he said. I didn't fail. I found 2,000 ways how not to make a light bulb. I only need to find one way to make it work. Thank you very much for allowing me to speak.
Oh, thank you, Samar. That was fantastic, and sage advice from both Russell and Samar about getting out your comfort zone and following your strengths. So thank you so much, Samar. It is now a delight to introduce Daniel Beddy O'Connor. Daniel spends his time and expertise accelerating the transition to a sustainable life system. Having spent 20 years in waste and sustainability roles, Daniel has saved companies over 40 million with waste reduction measures. Over the last 10 years, Daniel has focused on one project to achieve these aims, namely Get Warp It. Daniel is a powerhouse of support for global goals at local level and generously shares his learnings and experience over different platforms and methods in order to maximise the impact. Daniel creates services and content which help heal the planet and the people. Daniel is a force to be reckoned with for sustainability in business and beyond. Please welcome Daniel.
Thanks, Christina. Hello, everybody. I'm really honoured to be here and share some of my learnings. I've only got 7 minutes, so I'll just give you a very top-level overview. But I thought I'd talk about the changing landscape in business and how the pandemic has forced us to look for other revenue streams. And I'd also say that, you know, the changing landscape isn't gonna go anywhere. You know, it's gonna change all the time because of the climate emergency and the climate issues that are happening. So we really need to get used to being. We need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Yeah, because things are changing all the time. The greatest skill we can have as entrepreneurs is flexibility and the ability to be agile and pivot. Okay, so I'm gonna come in just short of 7 minutes. Got my timer on. So yeah, my real message here is that, you know, we've got to be flexible, we've got to be agile, and we've got to be able to spot new opportunities. And so I'm going to talk for the next 5 minutes about how we do that. Okay. The first point is you need to trust yourself. Okay. You are an entrepreneur. Okay. You can take ingredients, put them together and solve a solution that people will pay for. Yeah. You've done it once. You might have done it twice. You might have done it a handful of times, right? But what you've got to remember is, whatever the environment, you know, you need to trust yourself to be able to do that again and again and again and again. Okay. So how do you trust yourself? Okay. The first thing is you need to look after yourself. Yeah. You can't help anybody else if you're not functioning at your optimum. Okay. So how do you look after yourself? You know, you've got to give yourself time. You've got to go and do exercise. You've got to eat right. You've got to meditate. You've got to go and do your yoga or go biking or on your run. You know, you got to look after your body, your mind, your spirit. Okay. Another way to foster trust in yourself is to regularly get out of your comfort zone. Yeah. So look for things in your life that you're resisting. Ask, why am I resisting this? And go there. You know, lean into that resistance. And if you can do that in a very incremental way, you will learn that you are really capable, and you can then foster that trust in yourself. Another way to foster trust is to look back over your achievements. Yeah, all those wins that you've had in your career. Yeah, look back over them, review them, talk to other people about what you've achieved, and then you can really start to develop that mindset where you trust yourself. And another thing about trusting yourself is, and a number of speakers have said this already, is, you know, you've got to view failure as actually, it's just an opportunity. You've got to view challenges and issues as an opportunity to grow. Yeah, to grow yourself and your capability. Okay, so trust yourself. Number one. Second thing, when the environment is changing and you're trying to spot new opportunities, you know, you've already got a community of customers. Yeah, this is a really good benefit because you can talk to these customers, you can talk to these people, and you can find out their problems, right? And as Russell said 2 speakers ago, if you can find out a problem that's common to a lot of people and you feel passionately about it, you can go about fixing that problem and people will pay you for that. Okay, so this is about generating new revenue streams, new ideas, so that you can go on and carry on thriving in what it is you do. So if you've already got a customer base, that is the ideal place to start for finding out what the problem is and coming up with ideas to fix that problem. Okay, so how you then develop ideas is, you know, if you can specify a problem really, really well and really understand it. So who's involved with the problem? What is the problem? What's the impact of the problem? How much does it cost? How long does it take? You know, if you can specify that problem, you can come up with solutions, right? And when you come up with solutions, your ideas, then you need to validate them, okay? Because I don't know about you, and this comes back to what Russell's talking about, you know, I just want to do things that I love. I just want to do things that bring me joy. Okay, so you might have 100 ideas or 50 ideas or 10 ideas. And actually, when you have loads of ideas, it becomes quite stressful. Yeah, so you need a way to quickly validate those ideas cheaply. Okay, so the first thing is, share that idea with your colleagues, share that idea with your peers, get their feedback. Right? Don't hide your idea away. Don't put it in a cupboard. Don't think someone's going to steal it. You got to share it so you can start to get feedback. Okay. If you've got a good idea, have a look who else is doing it in the marketplace. And if someone else is doing it, don't be scared. What it means is there's a market for it. Okay. Another way to very cheaply validate an idea is you can present yourself or the product or the service on social media or online as if it already exists. And then you can see how people engage with it online, whether on Instagram or Twitter or whatever it might be. If people are saying, yes, I would buy this, or they're clicking your link, or you're visiting your landing page, you're getting a good idea. One of the greatest ways to validate an idea is to actually pitch it to a bank. Yeah, because the bank is the most conservative institution, and they only give money to the ideas that they really sure they're going to work. Okay, I'm not saying don't do what the bank says, but I'm just saying to pitch it to a bank, at least you'll get an idea of what the really conservative institution would think. Another great way to pitch it, to validate an idea, is to crowdfund. Do a crowdfund campaign, then you get real good data on whether this idea is going to be a good one. Okay. Now, just to wrap up, you need to validate these ideas. And if you're anything like me, and you're an entrepreneur, you've probably got 10 ideas ready to go right now, right? But you need to follow the idea that's going to bring you joy. Okay, because you're going to devote the majority of your life to making that idea happen and making it work. So it's something you've really got to enjoy. So when you're assessing all those ideas, what is your intuition telling you? Which one does your heart tell you is the best one? Yeah. Which idea is aligned with your values and goals? Yeah. So what are your goals? What are your values? How does it align? Obviously, you're looking for some sort of return on investment, whether that's in time or money or in the environment. Yeah. And then also, depending on your goals, you're looking at scalability as well. So that was my very quick 7-minute summary. If this resonated with you, I can do a little side presentation at another time. Drop me an email. I've left it in the comments, and I can set that up on Zoom, and we can do that later on. So thank you very much. I really appreciate that opportunity.
Daniel, cannot thank you enough always for your support, your candor, and coming in under for me. Really appreciate it. Thank you everyone for joining the UK session. I would love to hand you over to one of our GCP IT leaders, Aparna. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you so much, Christina. I think that was really awesome. So that was really a nice session. And on behalf of GCPD, let me thank all the speakers, Mr. Russell, Mr. Samar, and Mr. Daniel. It was just awesome. The energy you spread itself is enough. And I have learned the timer thing from Danny. I will use it from now on. Let's work together for a great future. Thank you so much for joining us today. And Christina, wonderful job as a moderator. So since we are running short of time, let's move on to the next session, the future of SMEs and trade in Europe. So we have with us Ms. Filomena Tucci, Director General, Gcpd Italy. Filomena, you are there, right? Filomena, are you there?
You need to unmute.
Always with you. Good morning, everybody.
Yes, Filomena is the Director General of Gcpd Italy. She was born in the south of Italy in Calabria, a very poor region, she says. And her career in data analytics, marketing research, communication started in 2002 in Milan. And 2013, she left the old job in traditional social researchers and opening new activities on innovation, helping women, helping her region. In 2014, she founded InGreen Environmental Startup in Calabria of green communication, sustainable engineering, and environmental education. In 2015, she founded eSkills for Women, community for the empowerment of 600 women with tech She is a mentor of Women Startup Weekends, judge of Tech Garage competitions, partner of Virtual Accelerator at Factory in Palermo. She has won several honors and awards for her outstanding